everybody doing? Hello, Tiago. I cannot pronounce your name, but feel free to put your name in the chat box so I can say hi to you properly. Thank you so much for joining. I look good today, I must say. There are some times I start off my Periscope and I think, oh dear Lord, Marjorie, a little makeup would help. How's everybody doing? This is Marjorie Phoenix. It is awful weather here in Florida today. Just god awful. Just came out of nowhere, but this is that time of year and we might be getting some sort of a hurricane or thunderstorm. Hello, Anya. Listen, I enjoyed your meditation. Hello, Uplifting Works. Welcome back. I enjoyed your meditation. I needed it. Before I came on this afternoon, a lot of things going on for me this morning, and the meditation was perfect. And I needed that to sort of balance me. And I am actually off. Thank you so much for coming. After my scope, I am off. Hello, Bally. Thank you for joining. Welcome. I am off for a very important interview. I am interviewing with a committee at the Chamber of Commerce for their Public Leadership Institute. And so I'm excited. Hi, Kim. That's right. I always forget that's your handle. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Thanks for coming. And so I've been a little stressed about that. And then I know I had my scope to do this morning and I had something prepared, but I put it aside because I'm going to be a part of the full moon celebration on Saturday. And I decided I'm going to use that information and share it for that. I'm going to be sharing the promo for that along with some of the other Tag Tribe members. And we're going to be doing sort of a Perry Summit in a way, celebrating the full moon. So anyway, the meditation was really helpful, and then I started school. Classes started for me on Monday, so it's a lot. It can be stressful, but we got to do what we got to do no matter what, right? So let's get into it. You know, the 3 things that you should ask yourself in the midst of a crisis. A lot of times we can view a crisis as our final destination. We plant ourselves there. We see no hope. We don't know how to move forward in that space, and it can become home. We just take up permanent residency there. And it's really a short-term location. It is a time to position and prepare yourself for a new location. I have always said that adversity is the seed for opportunity, but it just depends on how you look at it. So this new location for you while you're in the midst of the crisis, it's not a physical space, but it's more of an emotional and a mental space that you're going to go to. So let me just explain a little bit about that. I went through a spiritual growth and personal growth during some of my darkest times. And it was during that time that I was so empty, and it was a good thing. I actually got to know God in a way that I had not known before. You know, I grew up in the church, and I had known God from a religious point of view. I had known him from the way my parents had taught me to know God. These were beliefs that people gave me, and I put God in a box. And it wasn't until I was going through this crisis and I reached out to God, and God answered in a way that I didn't even realize he would. The miracles after miracles after miracles. And I write about them in my book and I share them. And I really grew a lot. God was not who I thought he was. Okay? And I'm not saying that it's changed anything from the Bible, but what I'm saying is I learned something personally with him during that time. And so what I did was I got to know him differently on a personal level. And I mentioned this yesterday. I don't know if you guys can hear the thunder. Yeah, it's pretty loud. I got to know God on a personal level without the church, without the Bible, just for a time. just to get one-on-one with him. And I realized God doesn't intend for us to stay in a crisis zone. This is an opportunity for us to connect with him on a much deeper level. So I see this as a time to get more creative as well. So what I realized is the more time that I spent with God, dialoguing with God. A couple of days ago, I did a scope by the Intercoastal, and I shared that space with you all because I said it was so important to my growth. I would go there in my car when I was homeless. I didn't have anywhere to live, and I would go there and I would sit in my car during the sunset. And sunset, for some reason, was such a really heavy time for me. And I would just go there and just cry out to God. I would hold on to my steering wheel and just shake it and cry and pray and just ask, what do I need to do? What do you want me to do? And there it was. It was in the asking of these questions. I started asking the questions so that God could answer me. So here are one of and let me just explain. I have this analogy that started to happen, and I use this in the book. There's this analogy of, the little pieces coming together as you start to ask the questions. And they don't all come at once. But I use the analogy of a nail, a hammer, and a blank canvas. That as I asked the questions, one day I received a nail. And I looked at this nail and thought, well, what am I going to do with this? It's just a single nail. And something in my spirit said, you just hold on to this. We'll do something with this. Then I receive a hammer. And I'm like, okay, I have a nail and a hammer. I'm going to be doing something with these. And just hold on to it. Something else is coming. Then I got a blank canvas. And it all came to me. I am going to use this blank canvas to create the life that I want for myself. I get to paint and create the life that I want for myself and then hang it proudly on the wall. So that got me in the position to start visualizing what I wanted for my life, okay? And all of that came from asking the questions. So here's one of the first questions that you want to ask, because this is a learning and growth period for you when you're in the midst of a crisis and you're in one of your darkest times. You want to ask, God, what do I need to know? What is it that I need to know in this moment? That's what you're asking for. Hello, Ming Dynasty. Thank you for joining again. So happy you could come. Ask that question. What do you need me to know? The second thing is I want you to think about the experience. Think about the experience that you're having. I know there's a lot of pain, but there's something to be learned from that. So I want you to be present in every single moment, even as painful as it is. Suck in those moments and times, and then, ask God, what is it that I need to be learning here in this moment? Ask God to show you what the lessons are, because there are many. I learned so many lessons, probably on a daily basis. But why? Because I was asking the questions. Then the third thing is, look for what needs to be let go. Look for what you need to release. And this can stem from, the feelings that you have of unforgiveness, all of those emotions. But it also can be the ideas that you have, the beliefs that you have, the people in your life. This might be a shedding of people and beliefs and ideas. And you have to be open to that, to releasing some of that stuff. One of the scariest things is to know that you have just emptied yourself of everything that you thought you knew about yourself, your false sense of security, your false identity, the things that you were holding on that you believe was giving you, that was feeding your ego, and that was giving you some sort of security. So ask, ask God, ask the universe, what do I need to release? Then start to release all the control, because you really have none. You might as well just open yourself up to the goodness that's about to come into your life so that you can start creating. So I wanted to make sure that I covered those three things, because those are just three beginning steps that you can start with when you find yourself in the midst of, a hard time and you're not sure where to go. You don't see clarity. It's all so dark. But that sort of thing can keep you tied up in the hurt from the past. It can keep you in the regret. It can even keep you in a fear of the future and moving forward in that. And yesterday I was discussing that whole victim mentality. Well, this is a part of it. This is one of those things. And this is one of the things that will help you shift and move out of that sort of thinking. So you've got to start asking the right questions. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. And you'll notice that every day, and I said this yesterday, every day you'll get a little bit stronger and a little bit stronger. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. I just wanted to remind you guys, let's connect on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube. I'm Marjorie Phoenix. All over social media. My website is marjoriephoenix.com, and I'm having a special drawing September 7th. And if you want to know how to get your name in that drawing for a free weekend retreat with me, I want you to go and check out my YouTube or my website channel and see how you can win a free weekend in Florida with me September 25th to 27th. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you again for gracing me with your presence. Go out and change the world. Bye-bye.